the ability to go and hire outside counsel to go do their work. All right, these are two private attorneys who are very good at their jobs that Metro was able to use taxpayer money to hire. I am a public defender, and unfortunately, thank you very much.
I believe everybody's here on Sanchez Lopez. Mr. Westbrook, any motion you want to make?
I do, Your Honor. As I indicated to the court yesterday via email with all parties on the email, I'm requesting a continuance of today's proceedings, and the reason for that is simple. About 36 hours ago, and my timeline is a little tough. I just got an airplane from Oklahoma. About 36 hours ago, Metro filed a new supplemental briefing. I haven't had a chance to even read it, much less respond to it, and I want to file a response in writing, which I think is our right. All it takes for continuance is good cause, and their late filing is my good cause. There's other reasons that I can present, but I want to start with that.
Well, that is simply the order that Judge Mendoza actually kept. We actually have a written order now.
Well, we have a written order that in no way binds this court, number one, and number two, I need to actually address what the power of that order is. And here's the thing, this came up before, and I'm actually surprised that Metro wouldn't just simply agree to the continuance in this case, since they've been asking for stays nonstop in all these cases. But here's the issue. When we were in front of Judge Mendoza, Metro filed their brief in that case, a 25-page brief with a bunch of exhibits, at 5:50 p.m. the day before the hearing. It wasn't served on us properly. I didn't get it until we appeared for oral argument and it was handed to me. I got somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes to read it. And we were in a situation there where I could not ask for a continuance to fully brief the issue because my client had been ordered by the court onto medium-level house arrest. House arrest refused, told the judge, we're not following your order, and said, but you can release him on house arrest. So he was pumped up to high-level house arrest in that case. The problem is that was going to interfere with his job, and he was afraid of losing his job. So I had to go forward then. Also, the sentencing was right around the corner in that case, and it would have damaged my client, I believe that's the case I'm picking up, it would have damaged my client to have the sentencing continued, just because I'm briefing this issue. So I could not, in that situation, ask for a continuance to file a written motion. I got it with about 20 to 40 minutes to read it, and I went up there and argued this brand new issue that I had never seen before, with arguments I had never seen before, on a motion that I was never even served with, and did my best in front of the court. Now, subsequently, I asked the court for an opportunity to actually brief the case, and Metro opposed. So their argument was, you should have asked to continue it, and you should have asked to brief it. You didn't do that, and so we're going to oppose any opportunity to brief it.
Refer to the court. You talk about my court.
Oh, sorry, Judge Mendoza was talking about it. Yeah, I'm talking about the other case, Judge Mendoza.
I need to keep it straight.
Yeah, I am. So I asked Judge Mendoza for an opportunity to brief it, and I filed a proper after the hearing of arguments that I would have made had it not been shut down. There's also a lot of oral argument I was trying to make in that case that I was shut down on and Judge Mendoza wouldn't hear. So I was denied the opportunity to brief it in front of Judge Mendoza, and their position was you should have asked for a continuance. Well, now we're in a similar situation today. They just filed something to the court. I have a right to reply in writing, and I'm asking for a continuance because my client's not in a situation where my request for a continuance will hurt him. So
This case is in front of the Nevada Supreme Court at this point, is
yes, it is.
with 3 other cases.
Yes.
It's being argued in front of the Supreme Court.
It is being argued in front of the Supreme Court. However, we've all agreed that the contempt issue is not moot.
But that's what happened with Mendoza. She's in higher court. She discharged.
Right, but she's not, she first of all, again, I need to address that in writing. If I'm not allowed a continuance to file a written brief, then I'm in the same situation here as I was in front of Judge Mendoza, and the court would be in a situation where you don't have the full information or the full law in order to hear this argument. And we want to avoid summary decisions. I mean, part of our complaint about what Metro is doing on Mr. Dickerson's advice is that they're making summary decisions behind closed doors, where nobody is present, there are no checks and balances, they don't even have a consistent format for rejecting or accepting people to their program, they won't share the information with us, and we're not allowed to appear and present our case. And what they want to do is turn Courtroom into the little back rooms where they'd make their decisions.
Is this a motion to continue, Your Honor?
Yes, it is.
What is this on?
It's my motion. Okay, well, I appreciate you calling it nonsense, Mr. Dickerson. I know you think due process is nonsense, but I happen to disagree with
I
it.
just think that your diatribe here is nonsense.
Here's the thing. Like every local court, I followed the upper courts. Whatever the higher courts tell me to do, whatever they're doing, I'm gonna follow what they're doing. I mean, she did discharge it. I mean, it took a while to get a written, this wasn't filed until the 13th of this month. That was given to me by Metro, but she did discharge it of her. This is not the exact same issue, but it's adjacent to the issue in front of me. I mean, it's all in the same ballpark. Given that's what Judge Mendoza did, and she's a district court judge, I'm a justice court judge, I mean, I'm just gonna dismiss the case down here. I'm gonna discharge the order the same way that Mendoza did.
Okay, well, we obviously object to that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They've agreed to
Rejected up there, you're gonna
Right.
down here.
And look, this is what they're trying to do. They keep sending me.
But you'll be in front of the Supreme Court.
I will be in front
Make
of
the decision.
I will be in front of the Supreme Court, but here's the issue.
Yeah.
They keep asking for first of all, Judge Mendoza's order in that case does not bind you in this case in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so let's put that out front right away. And you know who likes to make that argument? Metro. As you might recall, we had an issue a few years ago regarding the subpoena power of defense attorneys, where we had district courts saying that we have subpoena power, and Metro was arguing throughout that those district courts didn't make an order in this case, so therefore they don't apply. Now they're arguing the opposite. They like to argue both sides. Heads I win, tails you lose. That's not what the law allows.
Your Honor, we could stand here and go tit for tat all day long about these allegations.
I am following the written,
Yeah, but
I have the
you're just made its
transcript, I have the
order.
transcript is instructive, but now the actual written order,
Yes.
that kind of controls down here. Her order kind of controls down here. If anybody wants to make records, you're welcome to make records, but given what Judge Mendoza ruled, or her order, I'm discharging this. So if anyone wants to make a record, you're welcome to, but yeah, discharging it.
Well, Your Honor, I'm giving it the record right here.
Okay.
Okay. And this is my record. That is a violation of due process. They have agreed that the issue of contempt is not moot. Your Honor, you're the person who decides whether whether Metro committed contempt in regard to your order.
Well, hold on, that's fine that would have bad faith. That's fine that would have bad faith that if they had no basis for what they did. They had a parallel action up in front of Mendoza, Judge Mendoza. It's not this issue, but it's basically the same issue. So when they denied my order, at least they had a basis, because there, at least at that point, there was the transcript. So they had a basis, what if it is nice as an actual order yet, but at least they had a basis for denying it. And I can't find that they acted in bad faith. I mean, the order came, so I can't find the order that they acted in bad faith. So, I mean, I'm discharging this. Well, you're not going to find any kind of contempt.
Thank you, Your
Your
Honor.
Honor, you
Thank you, Your
can't
Honor, because
find.
that is a discretionary decision of this court.
I know, I read the order from
Your Honor,
Okay.
do you believe they acted in bad faith? Because it sounds to me like the issue that you actually do believe they acted in bad faith, but you feel restricted by an order from a district court that has not made the order in your case. I mean, that's why we're here. It's so that the court can actually rule on this.
They had a transcript where it looked like Judge Mendoza was going to rule this way, the way she ruled.
Okay.
And that's the way she ruled.
And she ruled without even giving me the opportunity to fully brief it.
You're in front of the Nevada Supreme Court.
I am in front of the Nevada Supreme Court. But Your Honor, before you go on, I have to talk to you about my full record, and I have to give you the public interest angle on this as well as everything else. I've already given the legal angle, and I object to it. I think this is a violation of due process, but let's look at what actually happens here. Metro keeps filing requests for us to agree to a stay of all proceedings on this until the Supreme Court has ruled. And my response to all their requests to stay has been exactly the same. I will gladly agree to a stay of all contempt proceedings in all lower courts if Metro will agree to stop committing acts of contempt. They will not agree to that. They created this completely false narrative in the media, which is designed to stoke fear. Mr. Dickerson is very good at going to the media and telling people to be scared of defendants, when what we should actually be scared of is this star chamber back room denial of people's rights without any due process. That's what we should be scared of. And he knows he's wrong on the law. So he's trying to go out there.
That's like making,
I get to
This
talk.
isn't a record.
I get to talk.
This
And then you get
is
to talk.
grandstanding.
and an ad hominem attack, Your Honor. This is nonsense.
I want you to go back a few sentences and remember what you just said about me. Okay, so the point is, I think he knows he's wrong in the law, and so instead of fighting it in a courtroom, like today, he's fighting it out in the media, and he's trying to use fear. I know that the court's probably gotten phone calls from people with threats. I've gotten phone calls from people with threats. And that's an atmosphere that was created by Mr. Dickerson in the media. Because he knows.
Hold on a second, and don't piss the media. I don't care about the media. My dad has never cared about the media.
Yeah.
I don't really worry about death threats. Doesn't bother me whatsoever. What I worry about, what I care about, is what the district court does. Because we are the lower court.
I'm glad the media is here, Your Honor, because they're the fourth estate, and they're the ones who are going to actually show what's happening behind these closed doors. So I'm very glad the media is here, but the way Mr. Dickerson is
They're
using
welcome
the media...
to. They're absolutely welcome to. They're in here filming this. They're absolutely welcome to do whatever
Absolutely.
they want. They'll do whatever they want.
Then we're in
What I
agreement.
care about at the end of the day is what did Judge Mendoza do?
Yes, and I am asking you for the opportunity, because if you don't give me this opportunity, then your decision is now summary, just like Judge Mendoza's decision was summary. I'm asking for the opportunity to brief this issue that was just handed to me by these guys 36 hours ago. I'm asking you to brief
It was
it.
something you knew was coming for weeks, because you were there for the argument in front of Mendoza, and she pointed to the fact that she was likely to rule exactly how she ruled.
She wrote a 17-page order, which I haven't been able to brief, Your Honor. Okay, listen, Mr. Dickerson's in a great position, because Metro has the ability to go and hire outside counsel to go do their work. All right, these are two private attorneys who are very good at their jobs that Metro is able to use taxpayer money to hire. I am a public defender, and unfortunately,
your job.
thank you very much.
You're very good at your job.
But I don't get to hire anybody outside. I've got a team of other public defenders who also have other jobs to do that are helping me, on this case. But I don't get to hire outside counsel to do all this work. I was just in Oklahoma doing death penalty work that is extremely important as I'm trying to save a life. And I come back here to this and I ask for a reasonable continuance to brief the very issue you're currently ruling on. And if you rule on it without giving me the opportunity to brief it, then it's another denial of due process and it's a summary order. And my question is, what is the harm in letting me present my case? And I'll tell you what the harm is. They're wrong on the law. And so they want to try to debate this case in the court of public opinion, because in a court of law, they're going to lose. So they're trying to shut me up. It's like, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. When someone says that, you pull back the curtain. And if you do, you'll find Mr. Dickerson there saying, please, dear God, don't listen to what he's saying, because
So listen to
you'll
it.
agree with it.
It has no basis in law. He hasn't made any legal arguments. That's the
Right.
bottom line. He
I
has
have.
nothing.
Do you disagree that
No,
if I do
because
that,
here it is, the Nevada Supreme Court. The where it is right now, the Nevada Supreme Court.
That's right.
Thank
You know
you.
what I'm going to listen to? You know what I'm going to listen to at the end of the day is the Nevada Supreme Court.
Oh, we all are, Your Honor. That's their job.
Yeah.
But listen, in the
I'm not going to
meantime,
overturn a district court judge.
they're going to continue to violate clients' rights, and then they're going to go into a courtroom every single time I do a motion for an order to show cause, and they're going to say you can't rule on this, Judge, because Judge Mendoza, based on one-sided briefing and a partial argument in an ambush hearing, ruled in our favor.
All of those comments that is making are belied by the wording of the order, which he apparently has not read.
Right.
Because
Oh.
the Judge Mendoza addresses each and every one of these contentions that he's making. For example, Your Honor, he filed a giant proffer after she ruled from the bench, discharging the order to show cause, with all of the arguments that he wanted to make in response to our brief. And she accepted it and considered it, and that's why it took over a month for us to get that written order. So all of these things, all of these issues that he's raising were addressed by Judge Mendoza before she wrote that order.
So I'm sorry, I think they're saying that I'm wrong on the law and that I'm wrong on what the order is. And what I'm saying is, I can show you that I'm right on the law and right on the order if I'm allowed to file a brief that's responsive to the pleading they filed less than 36 hours ago.
And it's-
So we both agree
No.
that I haven't made my point very clearly and I haven't cited to the law. So I'm asking to do that and they're saying don't let him do that and you're agreeing with them. That's a problem.
Your motion for continuance is denied.
Okay.
If you want to make any kind of record, you're welcome to make a record that's made as
Is the finding that I don't have good cause, or is the finding that you think you can't give me a continuance because of Judge Mendoza? I needed to know exactly why.
I was waiting to see what Judge Mendoza did. It's the
Okay.
exact same, I mean, not the exact same issue, but like I said, it's the same ballpark as what has happened to my department. All this is now in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will hear this, so save all your energy and all of this for the Supreme Court.
Well, I don't have to save my energy, Judge. I got plenty.
Anything?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
We object under the due process clause, under the rules that allow me to file responses to motions that are filed by counsel.
We didn't file a motion, Your Honor. We filed a notice of supplemental authority, simply giving the court the written order that was in the transcript that we provided to you, and which has been part of the briefing all along.
Okay, it hasn't been because it's a new order. That's just not right.
Okay.
Haven't been given an opportunity to
Case is
respond.
discharged.
Your Honor, thank you.
Now that all this has happened, where's my, oh my gosh. It's great to quagmire.
Well, when Metro violates the law, and it does create a quagmire.
Yeah, Metro, you're free to leave.
Thank you, Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Give her like eggs.
What makes this case so fascinating is that nobody is really arguing about what happened, they're arguing about who gets the final authority to decide what happens next. The defense says Metro is overriding judges and denying defendants due process, while Metro insists Nevada law gives the sheriff an independent duty to protect public safety. Judge Goodman ultimately chose to follow the reasoning of a higher court, but the bigger question remains unanswered. When a judge orders release and law enforcement refuses, who should have the last word? The answer could reshape how pretrial release works across Nevada. What do you think, the judge or the sheriff should have final authority?